for me, when I took my exam, which was in August 26th, and I passed it, thanks to Joanne, I told her after the fact, like, hey, Joanne, I was hearing your voice as I was answering the questions. Like, I could really read a question and like hear her in my head telling me the story behind that. And again, I will be redundant with this part. Like, you need to attach a story to the concepts, because that is what will really help you to go, to really crack the exam, and it will be like second nature for you at that moment. My name is Ana Carolina Villar, and I live in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm the events coordinator at the Beast Institute.
Can you tell me, how did you come up with an idea to get CMP?
Yes, I've been working in the industry for almost 15 years now. I started my career working at a hotel where I was a receptionist, and then I climbed to be a concierge at the executive floor. And after that, I spent like 10 years working for a travel agency where I performed any role, like from the being a secretary up to finishing with international division manager. And I used to organize a lot of incentive trips and for pharmaceutical companies, and also congresses and events. So the need to be recognized was like the main reason that I pursued certification, but also the need to learn more, like to really work on the things that I knew and to get to know the better practices that are available in the industry.
When did you get your CMP, and when did you take Joanne's class?
Well, I took Joanne's class twice. First time was as part of the experiential event as um, part of MPI's offer. So we went on a cruise, and it was a fun-filled 3-day experience where we got 10 hours of class, like divided between activities at the cruise and also dinners and fun and entertainment. And aside from that, the next time that I took the class, just to reinforce what I learned, was on June as part of another MPI event. So this was like a boot camp, I would say, and we spent 8 hours with Joanne. And it was a life-changing experience. So I would recommend everyone, if they can go to at least one of Joanne's classes, it'll be amazing. You will learn tons of information, but most importantly, you will be touched by her. Like, the way she explains the concepts, she tells you that you should apply them to your work. But I would say that not only to my work, I have applied this knowledge, I have applied it also to my life. And it's been, as I said at the beginning, life changing. Like, I've been so clear, and I believe the stories she work around the concepts are like the key to really grasp that information and like retain it forever. Because the first time you're like trying to absorb all that she's given you, so take a lot of notes, not to memorize things, but just to kind of get them into you. Like, you need to internalize them. But when you take the second class, you'll find that you will pay attention to other things that maybe you couldn't get at the first one. So what I did after I took both classes, I compared my notes, and they were similar in some cases, but there were huge differences from one to the other. And what helped me most study and prepare was to follow her guidelines as how to study. She has a great guide that she gives away where she tells you the way to study, like broken into bits. It makes it more easier to do. And also you have the chance to like really get the goals and objectives into your mindset, because she repeats that. It's not repetitive, and you will understand it when you're taking the exam. Like, and the same for the formulas. Like, don't memorize any of them. I didn't have to. I just followed Joanne's advice of adding story to it. So it was easy. Like really read the questions when it comes to exercises. Like they're asking you to get, for example, the number of attendees you will need to break even or something like that. So really read the question. But the most important tip that I got from her was to read the end of the question, like to really emphasize on that part. And when I did so, I could go back and like reframe it, and I got the answer easier. So don't rush through the exam, take your time, but really like go to the end of the question, like what do they want? And from there, you'll be able to build up and give the right answer.
After you obtain your CMP, did you actually see the recognition from your colleagues or boss? Did you see any change in the work?
Well, I started to see changes even before I got my certification. Like the next week when I came from that cruise, that I started like applying the concepts and like talking in the way that of the things that I learned from her. Like people were looking at me more seriously and like taking, looking forward to hear what I had to say. Like, in every situation, like bosses try to be inclusive and like get all the points of view from everyone. But it didn't matter before if I stayed quiet. But after I started like talking and applying the concepts, sorry, and thinking like more critically, I would say, as a result from taking Joanne's class, people started wanting to hear more of my perspective. So even if sometimes I don't have like the answers right away, people will be like, okay, I'll be interested to wait for what you have to say, like write it down or just, let's meet later to discuss it. So it's been a really great improvement in my workplace. And I've also been assigned like more important projects as a part of that. And I have also found the strength and the courage, I would say, to follow through with other projects outside of the workplace, like volunteering for institutions like MPI and really finding my voice. But it was through all the things that I learned at the class.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you
I'm so
for
glad
sharing.
that the whole experience with Joanne and taking CMP actually helped you and like
Oh, yeah.
improve everything in your
Yeah.
life and work.
And I think it's still helping me. I think it's something, it's not means to end situation. It's something that sticks with you, and like you will really apply. As I say at the beginning, like it goes through all the realms of your life. Like it's not only a work applicable thing. You can also apply these things to your life. Like for example, if you're with your family, I'm like, okay, we're gonna travel. So like, what is the objective and the goal of this travel? And like it's really easy to take out all the things that normally distract you from getting what you really want. So even in that, like you can apply all the concepts that she teaches.
This is so true. This
Yeah,
is so Joanne. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it is.
That's great. Yeah. One of our classmates mentioned that once Joanne is in your life, she's not leaving. And this is
Yeah,
so
that's true.
true.
She told me that as soon as I called her, like uh, to tell her that I passed the exam, and I'm really grateful. And I think if it would have been someone else, it wouldn't have been the same. I told her like, I did my part, but I owe it to you, like, because she never left me alone. Like as I told you, I started with her in January, and she followed up with me like every time through LinkedIn, through emails, through calls, like asking me, oh, how you doing? Do you need more information? Like really um, caring about how I was doing, if I was understanding the concepts, more importantly. Like she wasn't worrying about like, oh, if I'm following her exact point to point recommendation. She was caring more like however I was doing, whatever I was doing it and I could understand it. So that's what I think it's more I appreciate the most from her. Like she really cares and she's not trying to impose things on you. People are blessed to have her in their lives. Like it's really an exceptional addition, at least for mine. Like my life has changed so much, and like she gives you like really caring advice, and it's like for your best. And as I said, it's like, you should do this. It's like, I consider you might need to try this. So, and she gives you the explanation of why, like why is it, which is the reason behind it, and why you should try it. And she has inspired me, as I told you at the beginning, to try new things, to lose, like, oh, I'm a little shy sometimes, so I kind of coerce. And you know how people are, sometimes you have you get the imposter syndrome attacking you, and you're like, oh my god, I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be doing this. And she kicks that out of the way for you.
We know what you're saying. We 100% agree with what you.
Totally, yeah.
Like, she sees things in you, like she pays attention. And like whatever you're doubting that you're not good at, like she really takes a look at you and tells you. And if you're not good, she will tell you to. So that's what I like too, that it's not only she's not trying to be pleasing, she's just realistic. But for me, it's been a transformational experience, and I would put my money on her every time.